Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the nitty-gritty of measuring solar efficiency. We're going to break down something called the performance ratio, and trust me, it's a total game changer for understanding how your system is actually doing. So, if you've ever fired up your solar monitoring app and just kind of scratched your head wondering, hey, why does my 5 kilowatt system literally never hit 5 kilowatts? Well, you are definitely not alone. It's the ultimate assumption we need to throw out the window right now. The truth is, every single solar system experiences real-world losses. To figure out why this happens, we have to look at how these panels get rated in the first place. You know those numbers printed on the back of the panels? Those are generated under standard test conditions. We're talking perfect, pristine, climate-controlled laboratory environments. But out in the harsh realities of the real world, well, temperatures fluctuate, the weather constantly changes, and real-world power rarely, if ever, matches those perfect lab readings. And that brings us to our main investigative tool for today, the performance ratio. Rather than just obsessing over raw power output, the performance ratio measures how efficiently your system is converting the sunlight it actually receives into usable electricity. Think of it as a crucial report card for your system's overall health. It tells you exactly how much of that theoretical energy is surviving the journey all the way into your home. Okay, let's dive into this. The math is actually super straightforward. First, you calculate your expected energy. You just take your array's power and multiply it by the peak sun hours for your location. Next, take the actual energy your system produced and divide it by that expected number. Finally, just multiply by 100 to get your percentage. Easy, right? Let's paint a scenario to make this really concrete. Say you've got a 5 kilowatt solar array up on your roof, and your specific location gets, let's say, 6 peak sun hours on a given day. Step 1, you multiply 5 kilowatts by 6 hours. So your theoretical expected daily production, if everything was absolutely flawless, is exactly 30 kilowatt hours of energy. All right, now imagine it's the end of the day. You open up your app and it says only 24 kilowatt hours were produced. If you were just looking at raw numbers, you might be a little disappointed. But hold on, let's analyze this properly before we jump to conclusions. So we move on to step 2. We divide our actual 24 kilowatt hours by our expected 30 kilowatt hours. That gives us 0.8. Multiply that by 100, and boom, we arrive at our performance ratio, 80%. This tells us that your system successfully captured and delivered 80% of the theoretically available energy for that day. Okay, so we successfully captured 80%. Not bad. But here is the absolutely crucial, pivotal, investigative question we need to ask now. Where on earth did that missing 20% go? Instead of just asking how much power we made, let's flip it and ask where the lost power went. Let's interview our usual suspects. Suspect number 1 is actually one of the most overlooked: temperature. Remember those laboratory test conditions we talked about? Yeah, they keep the panels nice and cool. But up on a roof on a blazing hot afternoon, those dark panels absorb massive amounts of heat. And in the world of solar physics, heat is an absolute efficiency killer. As the temperature of the cells rises, the power output drops significantly. Suspect number 2 is soiling, and this is really just any physical barrier that stops the sunlight from ever reaching the solar cells. We're talking about dust accumulation, spring pollen, bird droppings, or even heavy industrial pollution. Even a surprisingly thin layer of grime acts kind of like a shade over your entire system, dragging your performance ratio right down. Next up, we've got wiring and mismatch losses. Look, every single cable in your setup has electrical resistance, which silently converts some of your hard-earned energy into heat before it even reaches your house. Plus, no two solar panels are perfectly 100% identical. These tiny inherent differences between individual panels accumulate into what we call mismatch losses. We also can't forget about the equipment doing the heavy lifting here. You know, rapidly moving clouds can really confuse your system's tracking, which reduces harvest efficiency. On top of that, your inverter has the tough job of converting DC energy into AC. And no inverter is perfect. A fraction of your power is always going to be lost as heat during this conversion process. And finally, wrapping up our usual suspects, we have shading. Now, you might think a single tree branch casting a tiny shadow over the corner of one panel isn't a huge deal, but you'd be wrong. Because of how solar cells are wired together in series, even tiny amounts of shade from nearby trees, antennas, or utility poles can drastically cut your overall array output. It's wild how much of an impact it has. So, what exactly does all this mean for your scores? What's a good performance ratio? Well, generally speaking, landing between 85 and 90% is excellent. 75 to 85% is very good, and 70 to 75 is acceptable. But if your system consistently falls below 70%, you've moved out of normal everyday losses and right into the territory of needing a physical investigation. But here's the thing, you absolutely cannot evaluate this metric in a vacuum. Context is everything. A system operating in the extreme heat of a desert summer is naturally going to show a lower performance ratio than a system operating in a crisp, cool climate. So comparing your winter PR to your summer PR will literally yield totally misleading conclusions. You always have to account for your local climate, the current season, and your array's orientation. And this brilliantly illustrates the real diagnostic superpower of the performance ratio, trend analysis. Imagine your system has a historic baseline PR of 82%. It's just humming along nicely for a year. Then, over a couple of months, you notice it's steadily dropping to 73%. Because you've already factored out the weather, you know for sure that decline means a physical change has occurred. That dropping ratio is basically an early warning radar for your maintenance. It's telling you to get out there and look for physical faults before they trigger total system failures. It could reveal unnoticed dirt buildup, maybe a neighbor's tree that just grew tall enough to cast a brand new shadow, or even something like an overheating wire connection. Now hold on, before you go rushing out to the roof with a toolbox, we need to talk safety. This is absolutely crucial. Never attempt to test energized solar circuits unless you have the proper electrical training. Solar panels produce dangerous, lethal voltage whenever they're exposed to sunlight. The real beauty of the performance ratio is that you can compute it completely safely from your couch, just using your monitoring app data without ever having to touch a live conductor. When you understand performance ratio, you stop guessing and start diagnosing. Honestly, that hits the nail right on the head and perfectly summarizes our core lesson today. A solar system shouldn't be judged by the theoretical nameplate rating printed on a spec sheet. It needs to be judged by its real-world efficiency, how well it actually overcomes heat, dirt, and resistance to put usable energy into your home. Grasping this takes you from being a passive owner to a smart diagnostician. So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on. What performance ratio is your own system achieving right now? Next time you have a nice sunny day, take your array size, look at your daily production, find your average sun hours, and just run the math. You might be completely surprised at what your system is trying to tell you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring that data.